YouTube. Good morning, Anthony here. This morning we're going to look at what happens when a nation, in this case Israel, is disarmed and the outcome of that disarmament. And in looking in 1 Samuel chapter 13, beginning in verse 19, I want to read a few verses of scripture here and then just discuss Israel's situation at the time, their predicament, and what the country was going through, and how their enemies successfully were able to control them because they were disarmed. In verse 19 of chapter 13 of 1 Samuel, it says this: "Not a blacksmith could be found in the whole land of Israel, because the Philistines had said, otherwise the Hebrews will make swords and spears. So all Israel went down to the Philistines to have their plowshares, mattocks, axes, and sickles sharpened. The price was 2/3 of a shekel for sharpening plowshares and mattocks, and 1/3 of a shekel for sharpening forks, axes, and for repointing goads." Okay, you see what happened there? Israel had no weapons. They had been disarmed. They even had to go to their captors, or the people that controlled them at the time, which in this case was the Philistines. They even had to go to them to get their farming instruments sharpened and readied for service in the field. And with that, they even had to pay money or a tax to get that done. So verse 22 picks up with this: "So on the day of the battle, not a soldier with Saul and Jonathan had a sword or a spear in his hand. Only Saul and his son Jonathan had them." So you see, King Saul at the time is setting out to go against the Philistines, and lo and behold, his army has no weapons because the Philistines are in complete control for so long that they removed every blacksmith from Israel, and the people were disarmed. So when you hear today the so-called politicians talking about, well, we got to do this for the children and for the sake of crime and to protect you from the evil gun, don't believe them. They're no different than the Philistines of this time. They want complete control, and the only way to get that and to keep it is to have the people under them disarmed and coming to them whenever they need something from them. So today's lesson is, if anything, is to be vigilant, to understand that our founding fathers had certain things they put in place for a reason, and that reason was so that we could thrive as a constitutional republic and not a bunch of people under the yoke of a king in slavery. So remember that this morning as you go along your day. Check out 1 Samuel 13, verse 19 through 22 for yourself, and make it be a reminder for you this day that we are a free people because of the Second Amendment and because of our right to keep and bear arms and keep those over us in check. God bless you. Take care. Have a great day and stay ready.